You know, as humans, we tend to make mistakes. Sometimes we fall, but it's okay. We are human at the end of the day. And Charles R. Swindoll said that life is only 20% what happens to us, but 80% how we respond to it. So I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I quite frankly believe that that is beautiful because it puts control of our lives exactly where we should want it, in our own hands. To say that, okay, it's okay. 20% of things, life is only 20% what happens to us, right? But a large majority, the big chunky fat share of it is actually how we respond. Should put some faith in you that no matter what happens, you can spin it into what's gonna make you achieve things. You're gonna manage to turn it around and make something good out of it, right? So I'll give you a personal example of where I found this to be true. Back when I was doing my GCSEs, I was in set 1 basically from year 10 and year 11 all the way up until our last mock exam, where I got a 7. All right, and I thought I'll stay in set 1 because that's the equivalent to an A grade. But my set 1 class is actually very smart, and it turns out that 7 wasn't good enough to stay in that set 1 class, and this was the last mock before the real GCSEs, right? So I had no way to work my way back into set 1. So I was moved down into set 2 for the last 3 months I had until my GCSEs came around. A lot of people might have seen this as quite discouraging, and quite frankly just let it take over, and they would have just beaten themselves up over it, which could have led to like them doing even worse and failing even more. But me, I decided to look at it on the chin. I said, okay, I got moved down. That doesn't really affect how smart I actually am, and it doesn't affect how much effort I can put in to turning this around. So, went into set 2 now, and this teacher, turns out, their system of teaching worked better for me. It seemed like she had more control over the class, and therefore it was quiet a lot more, and I had more of a chance to focus when in class learning. And because of that, I got more work done, and then I would ask more questions because I actually would get to a place where I felt like I was understanding, and I would ask questions to help where I didn't, and she would help because, the class was silent and I can actually understand what she was saying to me. Lo and behold, after these 3 months, sitting my GCSEs, I bumped my grade up, which is probably something that wouldn't have happened had I remained in set 1, because I would have thought, oh, I'm smart, I'm fine. And then I would have been in the very rowdy, loud set 1 class. So, yes, I might have got moved down a set, but I turned that around into actually improving my grade. So, moving down a set was actually quite the positive experience. And that does nail home the fact that life is only 20% what happens to you and 80% how you respond to it. So what, I got moved down? That doesn't make me any less smart than I actually am. Just means that there were other people who were smarter than me, and that's okay. I don't have to be the smartest at maths to still do well at it. So I took it on the chin, took it on the nose, whatever the saying is, got to work and improved my grade, right? So after hearing that, I just want you to know that next time you're dealt the non-ideal hand of metaphorical cards, so the next time things don't go completely your way, look at what you've got, take stock, analyze, see what you actually have, what's actually happened. Just take a quick stock and produce the best possible outcome. No matter what happens, look at what you've got, use it to its advantage. Because Alfred Adler said, the important thing is not what one is born with, but what one makes of that equipment. Some people born into wealth, some people born into complete poverty. It happens. But Cristiano Ronaldo, he was born into poverty, right? He's now undisputedly one of the top 2 football players to have ever played the game. He was dealt a pretty shitty hand when he was born. That didn't stop him from using what he had. A lot of guys who are born in that situation, they steal oranges from the local fruit market to practice keepy uppies. And so by the time they get to actually have a proper football, But they could probably do like 5 around the worlds and 73 keepy uppies in a row with an orange. I think they'll be completely fine with a ball that's actually made to serve that purpose. It's 20% what happens to you, 80% how you respond to it. Start responding better. Start putting better inputs in, better responses in, better outcomes will come out. That's it for this one. Hope you found value. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in another one. Peace out.